Bum 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 bum. When life gives you a lemon. Well, how many times we have heard this expression? Well, here's the thing. There's something to be said about life and the gift, and lemon is one of them. So let me take my glass off because I want to see myself squinting a little bit. None at all, none at all. I can see very, very good. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Massimo Navarrete. I am the master chef, owner of Onoche Wine Country Cuisine here in Costa Mesa, California. I took a little bit of leave of absence during the Eastern time. Also, we were having some difficulties with the equipment, which I'm not going into a conversation because it's not necessary. It's just one of those things. I come to you in this program for just have a little time, have some conversations, in many ways to air out some things that sits on my heart and soul someday, sometime heavier. Of course, our conversation is always about the wine world, but it's really a gateway drugs to the more important things, which is life himself. So I have I've heard this expression so many times, and I am completely on board to the life and the simplicity of it, the humility of life. I was watching the funeral this morning of Prince or King Phillips, and it dawned on me something very simple. I'm not a big fan of any royalty or any monarchy because I think it's a arbitrary decision made by some oppressors who became king and so on and so on. But leave that aside for a second. There is something to be said about civility. There is something to be said about setting standards and give the country and the people in large a sense of dignity, a sense of belonging, especially nowadays in this world where everybody's on each other's throat for one reason or another. We always want to create a new narrative, whatever we don't agree with or not comfortable with. We seems to have a two simple reaction. One, we hate everything and we want to change everything, just cancel everything. Or the other one is like, well, this is the way it is, this tradition. I think reasonable people, intelligent people, they look at history the way history is, many times narrated by the winners, and many other times narrated by time. And we can agree to disagree about a lot of different things. But one thing we cannot disagree, there is a lesson to be learned through our course of history, because it's basically the history, it's a story of human enterprise, where our failures, our success, our trial and tribulations, our abuse, our incredible celebrations. So all that, it's history. When I talk about wine, sometimes I go back ancient Rome, sometimes the Greek, sometimes even further. Because why? Because we have a legacy. We have a constant, continuous pendulum, but it's always moving. It's always moving. And that is important because as a human, we want to become better at what we do. We want to create a better future for our offspring and whoever comes after us. But it's challenging because we run into a lot of different issues constantly, whether it's societal issues, economical issues, and sometimes political, which becomes nowadays pretty much not even good politics. It's just garbage politics. It's a sensationalism politics. You have so many news channels, which is nothing wrong with it. I think it's more or better, but there must be a different discourse going on. There has to be less emphasis on selling product and services and commercials, and give a forum a little wider, a little much larger scope to whatever the question of the day is. I came to learn something very important, which I already knew. I wrote a book in 2012, 13, because I came to a place in my life where I realized I wasn't healthy. I wasn't having an healthy life. I was moving away from what I know, which is a lifestyle. If you want to have a lifestyle that is conducive to a better mind, a better body, better relationship, you got to take care of yourself. You have to take care of the people around you. You also have to be mindful with what is real, what is commercial, what is fake, and also what is not important, because not everything is, so it's not everything people out there to get you. It's basically people do what they do. You, when you listen to a commercial, you know half the commercial is garbage, but it's cute, it's fun. So if you believe everything they say, it's on you. It's always on you. So I would like to just bring it up a simple concept here. Critical thinking, it's a word that is used so many times in education. It just boggles the mind, the simplicity which people always approach everything, and yet they complicate it all the time. Critical thinking is given a subject and allow people to expand on their own terms, on their own understanding, in their ways, their own explanation. That is critical thinking. Unfortunately, we don't have a critical thinking. We have a critical theories. Well, the word theorem or theorias or theoria, it's not real. It's just something that you propose has a concept. There might be some truth on the base, maybe something along the way, but it gives you an opportunity to discuss. But when that becomes the law of the land, that's not good, because it's not a theory anymore. Well, if it's not, then we all have to agree one way or the others. So to me, one thing I'm going to agree right away, I'm going to tell the people right away. I spend the most of my life in food and wine. I spend the most of my life traveling and communicating with people. When I wrote my book, Ingredients for Life, which is a very simple book, few pages, see, few pages, to tell you the truth about how you become a better human beings, how you constantly change life the way life is supposed to be, which is eating better food, pay more attention to things you put in your dish, pay a little more attention where the food come from. Don't go crazy like some people do. They now they have to know the paternity of the mother, the father, the cow, or the DNA of the vegetables. This is insane. This is not real. It's not possible. What we are talking about most of the time is make a good selections. Eat more green leaf vegetables. Why? Because it's good for you. Not only it's good for you, but it is wonderful. Once you change your mindset about what is food, then the rest is easy. Right now, people have a strange concept of what food is. Think about it. There was a commercial that says, "What is the beef?" Like, okay, so you don't eat the beef in your life. Life is not complete. That's just dumb and ludicrous. But it's a commercial. Why you take everything so literally and so serious? Of course, they sell a beef. What do you want them to tell you? Don't eat the beef. I sell a beef. I don't eat the beef. Now, of course, they're going to say, what is the beef? What about the pork? Was like the other white meat. Like, what was the other white meat? What was the first white meat? It's ridiculous. There are so many white meats in the world, but what's the difference? So I made a very conscientious effort a long time ago not to accuse the industry, which there are plenty to go around and accuse for it. You saw this video out there, the slaughterhouse, the chicken coop, and all the other stuff. But my friend, this is basically, it's your problem. It's our problem. If we just want to pay $2 for a pound of filet mignon, you're going to get what you're going to get. If you're not honoring the quality of the food, you're not paying attention what you put in your mouth, well, of course, the industry is going to have an upper hand. The same with the wine. Everybody's always telling me about, oh, what do you think about this wine? What do you think about this? What do you want me to say? You like it. End the story. But if I tell you what I think, then you're going to think, oh, it's so opinionated. Oh, it's not Italian. Oh, so you come up with a million excuses because I didn't agree. Or better yet, I was going to give you an honest opinion for what I know, because actually I know something. I spend the most of my life in these things. I see food grow. I know how to grow food. I know how to make wine. I grow grapes. I know what it takes. So when people come to my restaurants or we engage in a conversation and they start giving me all those excuses because they want to hear me agree with their narratives, I find that really shallow and suffocating, to be honest with you, because at this moment in time, we need honesty. We need the people with clear vision. One thing we have learned about 1 year in the pandemic, there are leaders, supposedly a leader, which is supposed to be our representative. I don't know why we call them a leader. Leader of what? What are they leading? They're leading anybody. They're more confused than we are. They keep on saying one things and then instead of other things. Why don't you say, listen, for what we know at this moment, this is the information we're going to be able to give you. In fact, we're going to reserve the right to not to give you any information because we do not have all the information that will make a sense to give you an explanation to the issues. That would be a real leadership for a change. Instead, what we have this half-baked, half-roasted kind of representative and supposed leaders who come up with all nonsense stuff. They're telling you who's essential, who's not essential, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, go upstairs, go downstairs, stay outside, go inside. Stop! You have already broke every single rules in the book. Not just the Constitution. Let's put out little things for a while. There's a small little booklet. Nobody cares. But let's talk about all the crap that we've done for over 300 years in the pandemic. Who is in the right mind will take infected people of a disease you don't know and you put in hospital where sick people are? Who does that? We did. Italian did. American did. Everybody did. Why? Because the medical industry, because the medicine industry, because the pharma industry, because what they're supposed to do, they're used to making certain things, and they say, hey, okay, we have a facility called hospital, send the people there. Well, it's stupid. It's an insipid way of thinking. You know the word the Lazaret? Well, in the old days, they used to build a Lazaret. A Lazaret was a place where you send the people that had diseases you didn't understood. And you put them into a place called quarantine, 40 days, away from everybody else because A, you would learn what disease was all about. B, you would learn how to resolve the issues. And C, hopefully you didn't kill the rest of the populations. Instead of what we got. The same thing we get all the time. Blah, 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 blah. Same in the wine industry. Every year. Oh, we have organic, we have sustainable, we have a biodynamic, we got climate change. You got nothing. You got a bunch of grapes growing on beautiful vines. You got a good area, which is well established, and you have a good winemakers. And then you have a tons of customers out there that want to actually have a good time. This is what we got. It's a beautiful world, a beautiful industry. We are fortunate to be part of it. We are fortunate to be part of the world in this time we live in right now. There's never been a better time. Stop complaining and whining all the time. We have developed 2-3 vaccines in less than a year. The previous administration did miracles, pushed mountain. And rather than celebrate and thanks and congratulate what we do, we act like they don't exist because it's not our party, because it's not our vision, because it's not what we agree with. That is dumb. That is insane. If this administration will do the same miracle things, what would you do? Would you say thank you very much because you are saving life? Because you're giving us hope? Because you're giving us an opportunity to get out of this melee? This is not about Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, and all their nonsense. This is about human beings. This is about citizenry. This is about us, people. What happened? When everything became political rhetoric. When all of a sudden, when we don't agree, we just change everything. It's like when I was a kid. You didn't like the game, you took the ball away because there was the only ball we would play with. This is stupid. This is insane. What happened to adults? They all left the country? Maybe that's why Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, because maybe he captured all the smart people and put them in one capsule and is waiting to get them out of here. And what we left is a bunch of vacuum head. People that scream at each other all the time. They make no sense. Conservative, progressive, liberal, communist, socialist. What are you guys all talking about? This is not the early 1900s. This is 2021, for God's sake. How we grow up yet? We have a different need. We have a different world we live in. We got a technologies that taking over our life. We have a technology that know more about us than us we know about ourselves. And we are complaining about privacy. We give the crap away every day. So rather than worry about privacy, why don't we actually put a rules? Since we are the product, why don't we get paid for it? You want to talk about employment? No, we don't need $1,000 a month from the government to kind of make us happy. No, we actually want revenue from all the high tech, Facebook, YouTube, all of them, because we actually create a product for them. There's nothing. I'm not asking anything. I'm just saying, since you're using our service, you're using our face, you're using our data, why don't you share the wealth? After all, you believe in socialism. I'm in. But I also believe in capitalism. So I'm an enterprise guy. I'm telling you what, I'm giving you a product. You provide a platform. So let's make some money together. The rest of the world is the same. Facebook, what are you talking about? Zuckerberg, what does he know? He only used the old theory of the windows in the old country. A bunch of ladies get up on the windows. They say, hey, you know what happened? Oh, what happened? Oh, the other guy, you know what happened? Oh, what happened? Before you know, you had already real Facebook. The only difference now is the algorithm. Humans always done this. They talk about each other all the time. We're a bunch of vain, selfish, narcissistic people. That's why we survive. That's why we are fighting. Those are non-negative things. They're beautiful things if we manage it well. It reminds me of the cheap wine. You know what's the difference between a cheap wine and expensive wine? The cheap wine, you can afford it. The expensive wine, sometimes you don't. There's nothing wrong with it. There's some expensive wine, they're crap. There's some cheap wine, guarantee crap. But guess what? If you need to get drunk or you want to just have a glass of wine, either way, we'll do it. So I can spend most of my life explaining to you the fine line in between Nebbiolo and Pinot Noir, but you know what? Most of you don't care. So why don't I work with you about celebrating life rather than try to explain the pH or the natural acidity or the soft, velvety elegance? Why don't we celebrate life and start saying to each other, listen, if you have something to say, why don't you just say it? Be respectful. Nobody needs to insult anyone. Be mindful that I'm a human being. I can make a mistake. I'll admit my mistake. I got no problem with it. I'm not infallible. So one thing we know for sure through these years, we have mediocre representative call leaders. We have a medical profession at war with each other. We have a big pharma out there who's making crazy money, but they provide a service that maybe is a lifesaver. So why don't we just stop bitching about it? And then we have a lot of great wines that can't get into the country because we have a big backlog at the port with COVID-19. So let's resolve one issue at a time. I love a good life. I love a good laugh. And I love a good argument. So if you're with me on this, let's drop the pretense of sophisticated intellectual or because you're believing Karl Marx. You have no idea what Karl Marx is. He was an idiot. Okay? He was a frustrated idiot just like Freud. And don't come at me with, oh, we never tried. No, we tried all the time. It's stupid. It doesn't work because in the end, it doesn't matter what it is. Capitalism, socialism, whatever ism you're going to use, it comes down to human. If a guy's corrupt person, is going to be a corrupt system. If the person is an honest person, he has to surround himself with the good, honest people. That's hard. And so, on the end, what happened? You have a government. The intention is to take care of the social, but he has to respect the individual. You have a business. They are based on good capital investments. I work hard. I save the money. I buy something. I invest. I have the right to make money. Do you not have the right to tax me to death? Because you suffocate my entrepreneurship. Similarly, I work here, I make money here. I do have to contribute to the country. That's the balance. There's nothing wrong with it. Let's find the right balance, because on the end, it comes down to this, just like a great bottle of wine. If you have a great bottle of wine and you have a crappy company, believe me, that bottle of wine doesn't taste that good. Similarly, if you have a great country and you have a crappy citizen, that country is never going to be great. So let's change the narrative. Just like when I did with my ingredient for life, this was about lifestyle. This was not about recipes. This never was about dieting. Diet don't work. Nobody else be successful on a diet, because the idea that you have to deprive yourself, and that it's not human. So, but understanding the quality of life, the quality of living, good, healthy physical activity, a great smile and laugh with the friends, a wonderful glass of wine, eat intelligently, choose well when you eat your food, then the rest is easy. Remember, life, just like a recipe, you have to use the best ingredients you can. That means you have to choose the right friends. You have to choose the right place to live. You have to choose the right activity for you to be successful. But most of all, just like a great recipe, you have to use the right amount of fire. Sometimes it burns too hot. Sometimes it burns too slow. You have to know what you're cooking. You got to know if you're roasting, broiling, or boiling. This is the balance of life. This is a critical thinking. So when life gives you a lemon, don't complain. Make a limoncello. Make a lemonade. Make a lemon sorbet. Make a lemon cheesecake. There is so many things you can make with a lemon. What the hell are you complaining about? So for today, I just give you a big hug and a kiss. And arrivederci from Costa Mesa. This is Massimo Navretta from Onochi Wine Country Cuisine, 2915 Red Hill Avenue, Suite A108. Hope you see you soon. In meantime, have a wonderful weekend. Ciao. Arrivederci.